Good evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here with some more Hearthstone Arena action. So here I'm choosing between Druid or Mage because my last run was of course with Hunter. If you haven't watched it, check it out. I am on a hot streak. Oh my god. Now, my last Druid run was a mini run due to technical difficulties, and I have fewer Mage runs than fewer Druid runs than Mage runs on the channel, complete ones. So let's go ahead and grab Druid here. I don't like Mage either, so that's part of it as well. Okay, so we can take, for our rare pick, Savagery, which can be useful if you can combo it with Claw or Bite. Bite being a rare, Claw being a common. Otherwise, it's 1 mana for 1 damage, which is not super great. I guess it could also work with Savage Roar. I'm going to take the Pine-Sized Summoner. It's a 2-drop. It can be helpful. Druids do need some mana acceleration, so I think that's just the safest pick there. Druid of the Claw, fantastic card, just so gigantic, so awesome. Really happy to have it. Okay, now Mark of the Wild, definitely a playable card, but I'm going to grab Wolf Rider here for some removal-esque type of stuff. And Mark of Nature, again, is pretty good. My style, though, is to go for good creatures over good buffs when possible. So I'm going to take the Silvermoon Guardian because it's just a really, really solid 4-drop. And I like having really solid 4-drops a lot. Okay. Well, we could take a second Druid of the Claw, but I'm actually going to grab Starfire. I find that it's really nice to have one of these so that you have some burn potential and so that you can kill big creatures. Like if you're already even or ahead, this gets you card advantage and knocks out something really large. It's really nice to have. I am sad to pass on the Druid of the Claw, though, but I think Starfire, I've played enough without it that I don't want to play without it anymore. Swipe, extremely important card. I think it's a huge predictor of success as a Druid, whether you have swipes or not. Because Druids have a lot of big stuff, I'm not that interested in either of these 5-drops, neither of which I value. We'll take the Frostwolf Grunt, which I don't think is good. Like, I don't think it's excellent, but I do believe it is underrated. I think a taunt in any body can sometimes be fine. Nightblade, MVP, no. Okay, so we can take the Power of the Wild, which is nice to have as a 2-drop, or as a buff later in the game, or we can take Mark of Nature, which can be fantastic under certain circumstances. I'm still in creature mode. Let's take the Power of the Wild. It's a buff as well, and it's pretty good. Okay, I'll take a second Druid of the Claw over a second Silvermoon Guardian. I do love these Druids of the Claw. They're so ridiculously good. And, okay, I'm going to take a Bite. So, sad that I passed on the earlier Savagery now that I see Bite, but even so, Bite's good. And I don't want to take Violet Teacher, although I do like her a lot. Oh, I don't want to take her over a Bite, because Bite is removal. It's not the greatest removal, but sometimes you can use it as life gain. Sometimes you have life left over after you kill whatever you're killing. Sometimes it's just burn. I think it's just a really nice card to have around. Okay, well, in a recent arena, I grudgingly confessed that Stormwind Champion is alright. Do I take it over the Stormpike Commando? That's the question. This is looking to be a fairly high-curved deck, so I think the Stormwind Champion could be tipping things over a bit much. I'm gonna, well, he is, as someone pointed out to me, a real removal magnet. If I'm paying that much mana, I'd rather get something that has Taunt or better stats and doesn't rely on other creatures being on the board to be good. I'm gonna take the Stormpike Commando. This is turning out to be a real removal-heavy deck. Okay, Ancient Mage I'm not that big a fan of. He is my pimp, but Druids are not paladins, they're not shamans, you're not guaranteed of getting the spell damage. Although, hang on, I mean, maybe like with Swipe it's really awesome. No, I'm going to take Mana Wraith. This thing is a real pain sometimes, and it can slow down your opponents. Alright, I could take this as removal, but honestly we're doing fine on removal, so let's grab a Silence. And now I need 3 mana stuff. Well, not a chance of that. I will take the Geomancer, though. It goes really well with Swipes. I'd rather have that than the weapon killing. Alright, well, okay. So I could take Savagery now that I have Bite, but I think Nourish is quite strong, especially for the kind of deck this seems to be becoming, so I'll take it for some card draw. Alright, Mark of Nature is fine, but I really just am hurting for 3-drops. The only one I have is Wolf Rider, and it's not really a 3-drop. So although I would like to take a Worgen Infiltrator because I think it's important to have some 1-drops in a deck, Druids with a hero ability that can damage things, I think, aren't so badly off if they don't have a turn 1 play. In my last run as Hunter, it was just terrible. I only had like 1 good 2-drop, and I had no 1-drops, so I was getting off to these slow starts. As a Druid, it's like less dangerous to get off to a slow start, especially now that Novice Engineer, a popular turn 2 play, has only got 1 health. So basically what I'm saying is I want to take this. I want to have creatures to play on turn 3, even if I'm wasting the heal. Okay, so I can take a second Kobold Geomancer to double my odds of being able to combo the Kobold Geomancer with Swipe. Now, it doesn't really combo that well with anything else, not so much with Starfire. It doesn't work with Bite. So I don't really want to load up on those Geomancers, and I don't want to load up on the Cult Master either, simply because, or not, sorry, not load up on, but I don't want to play with the Cult Master either here, because if you look at my curve, it's just not super likely I'm going to pull this off. So I'll take Power of the Wild, it's a 2-drop. I have a bit too many of them, but this can be played later in the game as well, and at least I'll have solid early draws. Okay, Savage Roar can be good, but I'm going to take Naturalize here. This has been very effective against me. Let's give it a shot there. Another Druid of the Claw. Well, is that better or worse than a Harpy? So it hits not as hard as a Harpy, but it has more health. It can charge. I think this is just like better than a Harpy most of the time. I'm just going to take the Druid of the Claw, even though it costs 1 mana less. Okay, do I take the Pimp here for some spell damage or the Kodo? The problem is that I'm loading up on 5-drops here. I've got 5 mana cards. It's getting a little risky to take this Kodo here. Sure, the Kodo can be very good sometimes, but a lot of times it does whiff, and I'm tempted by this Ancient Mage who fits better into my curve. And the spell damage, well, doesn't really work with anything but the swipe. But, I mean, yes, Starfire technically, but it's not as likely to come up. I'm going to trust my instincts and take the Mage, just for curve reasons. Okay. Well, I don't want another 2-drop. I don't want another 5-drop, so Dark Iron Dwarf it is. We just need every 3-drop we can get our hands on. All right, here we go. Scarlet Crusader is definitely good. I'm going to take the Flesh-Eating Ghoul, though. It's a bit of a riskier one, but we've seen it get crazy on this channel, and so I want to make sure I've got that going for me. Oh, God. Do I take a second Dark Iron Dwarf? So I will, actually. This might be a 4-4 for 4. I really don't want this. Well, do I want this Charging Murloc? That's the only thing that might tempt me here. I have so many 2-drops. It's not really a 2-drop. It's more of like a removal, and it can get buffed by the dwarf sometimes. I just don't like the idea of taking another 4-drop here that isn't like a really premier 4-drop. I got like sort of average ones. The Silvermoon Guardian is really the only good one. The Ancient Mage, the dwarf are conditional, so is the Spellbreaker. Ugh. Alright, we'll take the Warrior for some removal potential, not that I need it. Alright, I don't think my curve is high enough to justify Wild Growth, so we'll take a Claw. And I'll take a Silverhand Knight. Oh, God. Savage Roar fits in my curve, but I just don't think it's going to work. We'll take a Yeti. Okay, so the name of this game apparently is 2-drops and 4-drops. That's all we've got going on here. I'm not going to take the Bomber or the Nightblade. We'll take the Abusive Sergeant. The buff can be good. And sometimes I'll be able to play it on turn 1. Wow. This is like the 4th savagery I've seen. Honest to Gravy Jones. Well, now I've got Claw and Bite to go with this. Is that better or worse than the Keeper? I think the Keeper's still better, but the savagery fits into my curve better. I've already got all these 4-drops. So, I mean, the Keeper's not really a 4-drop. It can be, but a lot of times you'll just use it later for damage or for the silence. I'm going to trust my instincts and grab Savagery. There's 2 cards that go well with it. It might work out well. Okay, so I'm offered another 3-drop, and it's a Wolf Rider. I don't want to take another 2-drop, though, so Wolf Rider it is. Oh my God! How many Savageries does a man need? Alright, this is what I need in my life. Argent Commander is a good top-of-the-curve card. So I ended up not seeing any Ironbark Protectors. I didn't see any of the Epic Trees. I didn't see any Boulder Fist Ogres. I saw no War Golems. All I saw that was big was 1 Wind Fury Harpy. Okay, I'm not going to count the Core Hound that I passed on. I saw Wind Fury Harpy, and I saw Stormwind Champion. I think those are both reasonable things to pass on. I guess some people will take issue with my choosing Stormpike Commando over the Stormwind Champion, but I just don't like the Stormwind Champion that much. Naturalize definitely more of an endgame card. This is my like 1 good 4-drop, but it's not good against mages who can ping off the Divine Shield for free. So I'll keep the Kobold Geomancer in case I need it as a turn 2 play, and it looks like I will. It's not the greatest of starts here against my opponent here, Weewick the Mage. Alright, well, might have to play Power of the Wild, depending on what she does. If she plays like a turn 1 Mana Worm. Nope. Alright, so what do I do? Yeah, I'm going to do this because it's a bit safer, you know? If she plays like a 3 toughness creature or something, I'm really glad I got this extra power. Or a 4 toughness creature, and I can use Shapeshift and finish it off. Granted, she's not going to play a 4 toughness creature anytime soon, most likely, but it's nice to have anyway. Mana Worm. Oh my God, really? Are you really kidding me here? Novice Engineer. Alright, well, in my last run, the nerf on this Novice Engineer just aggrieved me to no end. In this run, I can actually kill it. So the question is how. I can Shapeshift, of course, and kill it, and kill the Mana Worm. Problem is, then I can't do anything else. But if I were to play the Pine-Sized Summoner and kill the Novice Engineer with my Panther, she could ping off my Panther, use the Mana Worm to kill the Pine-Sized Summoner, and live. So that's actually not a good move either. This isn't great, but it's the best I can do. Man, I'm sad I saw no Ironbark Protectors, because I feel like with all those 5-drops, this is an endgame deck, but it doesn't have any like really big drops at the end to really seal the deal. Like, I would have probably taken a War Golem or maybe even like a Ravenholt Assassin. This 3/3 is actually crushing me completely because... Oh, thank God I drew this Murloc. Because I didn't want to play either of these just to have them... Oh, God! Oh, never mind. I messed up. I forgot this is a Murloc and therefore getting buffed by the Murloc War Leader. Like, it doesn't come up often. I just totally screwed up. I should have played the Pint-Sized Summoner instead of Shapeshifting. Oops. So this is a very rare occurrence. I hope you'll pardon that error, but yes, that Murloc was getting buffed, so I didn't need to Shapeshift to kill off the War Leader. I could have played a Pint-Sized Summoner. That could make a really big difference in this game. I'm not gonna lie. Druid of the Claw is a fantastic card, but against mages it's less fantastic because they have 2 common cards that will kill it. Just very irritating. For that reason, I may even consider playing a Silverhand Knight, and in fact I will. This way I'm not as vulnerable to a Fireball or a Polymorph, and she used her coin, so we're 2 turns away from Flame Strike. 3 turns if you count the current turn that is happening right now. Well, she's got a lot of cards. She has 8 cards, and I've done no damage to her, so that's a little bit unfortunate. I imagine she has some way to protect this or something. Wow. She's just dropping a questing adventurer to die to my squire. Alright. Works for me. So we'll do that. We'll do that. And I can play this and Pint-Sized Summoner. Or I could play just the Druid of the Claw. Well, let's put a little more on the board. The mana on the Pint-Sized Summoner discount could actually potentially make a difference. It would allow me, for example, play the Argent Commander and Shapeshift next turn. Or Argent Commander and one of my 2-drops. It looks like a Cone of Cold. So she pops Divine Shield, freezes my shit, kills my Pint-Sized Summoner. God, freezing is such an unfun mechanic. I hate it so much. Alright. So here, let's play the Druid of the Claw. Now, using this as a buff doesn't really save these from Flame Strike. I don't want to throw these down just to die to Flame Strike, so let's get a little bit more armor. It's actually going nicely with the Savagery that I might draw. And this guy will survive a Flame Strike, which is cool. Now, she's got 8 cards after Flame Strike, drops to 7. I'll have... Okay, she's going to just Polymorph that. Fair enough. Fair enough. And she has a Farseer. Bow. Alright. So I've got a couple of options here. One is to play like Yeti, Grunt, let's say, and then the Power of the Wild, and buff everything up. The advantage of that is that it will actually protect my sheep. The disadvantage of that is that even with the Power of the Wild, this dies, the sheep dies, this will die, and this will die. So like everything still dies except for the Yeti after she Flame Strikes. Another option is to just cash out my guy, have it die, play the Yeti, which survives Flame Strike, and what else? Oh man, everything else I do dies to Flame Strike. Except for this guy, but she can just ping off the Divine Shield and kill it with Flame Strike anyway. It's a tough situation to be in. Okay, damn it. Alright, we're gonna go for that, we're gonna go for a slight variation on the plan. So I'm not gonna play these guys. I'm gonna try to bait out Flame Strike first. But I will do Power of the Wild and Shapeshift. So the plan here is I'm going to use my sheep and Shapeshift to kill that. And then I'm going to swing for 9, which is a lot of damage. So the idea here being that if she Flame Strikes, I still get to hit her for 5 with the Yeti, plus 4, it's 9. Shapeshift is 10, she's down to 8 health. And if I can get a Starfire or a Swipe, I might be able to burn her out with that plus Shapeshifts. That's the plan. What I really don't want to see is a Blizzard or a Okie Dokie Cone of Cold. I just don't want my stuff to get frozen. Flame Strike would have been alright. Well, she drew a lot of cards. She had a lot of cards. I don't know what they were. Maybe it was 5 Angry Chickens. But we got up to a win. That wasn't the most comfortable win ever, but I would say that mages, it's hard to have comfortable wins against in the best of times. So I will reserve judgment or any deeper judgment about the quality of this deck until we play someone who isn't a mage. That was fast. Okie doke. Candlejack. Well, Back to the bad old days of playing nothing but mages, apparently. This is oh god, I have so many 2-drops in this deck, and I do actually have 2-drops. In a recent Hunter run, I was like complaining, like, I have so many 2-drops. Why aren't I seeing any 2-drops? And like, it turns out I didn't actually have any 2-drops, but I actually do have 2-drops in this deck, so quit being a bitch game. Give me your shit. Alright, so we drew all the 2-drops now. That's awesome. Please don't play a Mana Worm. Oh my god. Seriously, this is like every mage is playing Mana Worms. I will play the Power of the Wild. The thing about this is, unlike Northshire Cleric for priests, where you play a 3-2 and you can kill it, it's not even great. Like, worst case scenario, she Fire Blasts and then they trade. Like, it's not actually ever going in your favor at all. The best it can be is a trade, and like anything other than that is just worse. And she is, of course, second, so she has the coin to trigger onto the Mana Worm if she wishes. Which is awesome. I mean, it's a good thing she didn't have Mirror Image, because if she did have that, she would have definitely played it. She would have done Mana Worm, coin, Mirror Image, and buffed it up to be a 3-3. Which is so silly. Loot Hoarder. Well, that's alright. That's okay. She's slowballing it here, so I mean, I kind of understand what she's doing. She's letting me kill the Mana Worm, and then she'll ping it off next turn. Now, I could play the Flesh-Eating Ghoul, and then have the Panther run into the Loot Hoarder. The problem then is that all she has to do is coin to buff this Mana Worm, and it'll kill off the Ghoul. Similarly, if I play the Ghoul and have the Panther kill the Mana Worm, she can use the Loot Hoarder plus Hero ability to kill off the Ghoul. However, then she leaves the Panther alive, which is an interesting possibility, but I think I'd rather just keep it simple, keep it safe. We'll just do this, kill the Loot Hoarder. So for her, it was a 2-mana cycle that dealt 1 damage. I'll kill off the Mana Worm. And so now she's committed to spending her entire turn, pretty much, unless she has another 1-drop, to playing the Panther. I wish I could have gotten the Pine-Sized Summoner down somehow, so I could have played Druid of the Claw next turn, but alas, it is not to be. Okay, well, I have 2 5-drops. Damn. Let's just put stuff on the board. I'm not at risk to any kind of mass removal for a while. Oh god, this is a weird bug. This is... what the heck? They've gotta... how have they not fixed this stuff yet? Whatever. Arcane Explosion! Boo! Boo! Well, this thing is gonna die next turn probably, but at least I get to, you know, load up the board. Similar to before, I'm going to play the Silverhand Knight over the Druid of the Claw because it's not vulnerable to Polymorph and Flame Strike. Or it's not, it is vulnerable to Flame Strike. It's not vulnerable to Polymorph and Fireball. And Flame Strike's not for another 3 turns. Pretty much the exact same thing as the other mage. I've done no damage to her. She's done nothing. But she's got a lot of cards. Mirror Image. Fair enough. Oh, she's going to play Defender of Argus. Oh, she's going to play Flesh-Eating Ghoul. Ooh, clever. Oh my god. That's annoying. So what she's doing is she's making me kill her stuff before she can get at this ghoul. Oh my god, I was kind of thinking about that. Dark Iron Dwarf this turn. Oh, man. Okay, here's what... can I play the Dark Iron Dwarf? Oh, thank god. So what we're going to do is we're going to beef up the Squire. Play the Bluegill Warrior. Going to use the Bluegill Warrior. And the Knight. Kill the Mirror Images. And then... if you insist. Oh, I messed up. Folks, I made a mistake. I should have used the Squire and the Knight to kill the Mirror Images and buffed the Murloc. Then she wouldn't be able to... I would have a 2-2 instead of a 2-1 left over. That was a slight misplay on my part, and I apologize. So this might cost me the game because she can now kill this creature, whereas if I'd done it the right way, I would have had the Squire, which she could not kill off with her hero ability. That could make a pretty huge difference in the grand scheme of things. And she has enough mana left over. Yep, that was really unfortunate. Oh, gosh. I could silence this, but I think I'd rather do this guy in time for Flame Strike. And then Shapeshift to kill off the Sen'jin. So, getting some damage on. It's a shame that time kind of passed the Flesh-Eating Ghoul by, and it's an even bigger shame that it's behind the Nourish. I seem to be able to trade places, but I might want to play Nourish next turn. So, oh my god, if I can't play Nourish, this would actually make me lose. Motherfucker. This bug is so terrible. I really need to play Nourish, like, kind of badly. I keep clicking on Nourish, but it keeps selecting the Flesh-Eating Ghoul. That's not good. That is the opposite of good. That is, in fact, bad. I need to play Nourish here. There's no question. Maybe I can play Flesh-Eating Ghoul and then Nourish. I mean... Okay, I should really draw cards before committing to the Ghoul, but I'm going to play it because it won't let me play it the other way around. Oh my god! Are you kidding me? Oh, thank God. Thank God. Whew, if I was not able to play Nourish, that would have been a bitch and a half. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. The cards... I might need that swipe, you know. Alright, we're going to start to race. I think that's the best thing I've got. I'm just got to hope that this Taunter is good. I figure she would have played a Fireball if she had one. So I'm just hoping. She has nothing better than to run her creatures in and use hero ability to finish it off. And then the Flesh-Eating Ghoul will get nice and fat if she doesn't have a Frostbolt or something. She has a Frostbolt. No, she's a Frost Elemental. Well, that works. That works. And she has enough mana left over to kill off my Taunter. Sad. So sad. Well, what I'd like to do... Do I want to play Swipe this turn?
I can't.
Do I want to play a Swipe? I mean, it'll kill the Golem, and with Shapeshift, it'll kill the Frost Elemental. Or do I want to play Druid of the Claw? Well, you know what? I'm having a hard time reaching my Swipe, so let's just play Druid of the Claw, which seems to have a hard time getting past those guys. I could silence the Ghoul, but then it will lose the buff, so I don't really want to do that. We'll play the Farseer to heal up a bit. And we're going to swing... I'm really just trying to race her down, basically. We've got Swipe for some burn potential. And a lot of big creatures. So if she doesn't have a Flame Strike here, it's all over. Oh my god. Did she just top deck Flame Strike or Cone of Cold? Cone of Cold. Motherfucker. I should have put the Farseer in the middle. Freezing is such a lame mechanic. Oh god, I hate it so much. It's so unfun. I would rather like my creatures were actually just die. And of course she has 2 mana left over to use the Golem to kill off my Earthring Farseer, because of course. Oh no, she's gonna kill the Ghoul. That's important, I guess. Maybe this is like a Vaporize or something. Oh my gosh, well, I can almost burn her out now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. We're gonna... fucking... No, I cannot play that Grunt. I need to play the Swipe. I really need to play Swipe. Game, quit giving me this shit. I need to play Swipe. Oh my god. Honest to God, this is ridiculous. If I lose this game, it's not my fault. Oh, now you're not letting me play Power of the Wild. You mother... You motherfucking game. Honestly, okay, if I lose this, it's not even my fault. It's not even my fault. Because this has just been ridiculous. Okay, so this is not Ice Armor or Vaporize. It could still be a Counterspell. In which case, I'll try Power of the Wild. If it's Spellbender, that's annoying, but I'll still deal 1 damage to her. She can kill everything with a Flame Strike, but then as long as it's not a Counterspell, Swipe plus Hero ability will finish her off. Alright, she doesn't have Flame Strike, so that's like the second mage in a row who didn't have Flame Strike. She seems pretty cocky, so I'm wondering if she has... Nope, she does not have Ice Block. Alrighty. So that's, wow, 2 wins against mages to start the arena. Neither one was particularly confident, but the second mage did play some pretty strong interference. She used her hero ability a lot to great effect. She played 2 Cones of Cold. And I guess that was it. Okay, maybe they didn't interfere that much. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and or subscribe. And if you want to see the rest of the run, stay tuned. I'll post it shortly. See you in a bit.